Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a secret. The only limits that exist are the ones you place upon your own mind. In every man's heart there lies a burning desire to achieve, to rise, to conquer his circumstances, but very few act upon it. Why? Because they don't believe it's possible. And that, my friends, is the greatest tragedy of all. You must learn to believe. Believe as if anything is possible, not just casually, not just when the sun is shining and the world is smiling at you. No. I mean to believe with unwavering faith when all evidence points against you, when you're broken, alone, and tired. That is the moment when belief matters most. The starting point of all achievement, the seed from which every success grows, is belief. And not just any belief, not hope, not wishing, not idle dreams, but an unyielding, absolute faith that what you desire is not only possible, but inevitable if you persist. Let us be clear from the outset. No man, regardless of talent or resources, rises above the circumstances of his life until he first lifts his thoughts. And thoughts cannot rise until belief gives them wings. You may possess ambition, you may even possess intelligence, but without belief your ambitions are paralyzed, and your intelligence is rendered useless. Belief is the activation switch of your mind. Men who have changed the world, who have risen from poverty, overcome disease, defeated impossible odds, began not with money, not with connections, but with a conviction in their minds. I will succeed. I must succeed. It is only a matter of time. That kind of belief is the real starting point of achievement. I have interviewed hundreds of successful men in my lifetime, millionaires, industry titans, inventors, leaders, and in every case I found one quality without exception: faith in themselves and in their vision. Many of these men had no formal education. Some had been laughed at, rejected, or dismissed, but they went on to move mountains, not because of external advantage, but because they believed they could. Understand this: belief shapes your behavior. It determines whether you rise in the morning with purpose or slump under the weight of yesterday's failures. It controls the words you speak to yourself, the decisions you make, the risks you take. A man who believes success is possible for him begins to think in alignment with that belief. He takes action, not recklessly, but decisively. He looks for solutions where others see obstacles. He persists where others quit. If you believe you are destined for greatness, you will carry yourself differently. You will walk into rooms with quiet confidence. You will not shrink in the presence of adversity. On the contrary, you will see difficulty as evidence that your destiny is real, because no worthy goal comes without resistance. And let us not mistake this kind of belief for blind arrogance. No, it is not built on fantasy or delusion. It is forged in clarity, tempered by purpose. It says, I may not know how yet, I may not have all the answers, but I know that if I persist, I will find them. If I keep moving, I will arrive. Such belief must not be fragile. It cannot depend on applause, nor wilt under criticism. The moment your belief is shaken by other people's opinions, it reveals itself. But the man who builds belief on the bedrock of definite purpose is unmoved. His faith becomes a fortress. That kind of belief draws opportunities. It attracts allies. It commands respect, because the world recognizes and responds to conviction. People do not follow hesitation. They follow certainty. And certainty is born from belief. Now listen carefully. You are always believing in something. Every day, you are telling yourself a story, whether it is one of power or one of limitation. If you say, I can't, long enough, you begin to operate as though you truly can't. You will stop trying, stop seeking, and justify your failure with false logic. But if you say, I can, I will, I must, even in the absence of visible progress, you awaken within yourself the power to endure and eventually to win. Belief rewires your subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind, once fully impressed with your goal, will begin to operate in harmony with your desire. Ideas will come to you. Strength will rise in you. You will be guided, sometimes almost supernaturally, toward the right people, the right resources, the right opportunities. But none of this begins without belief. The tragedy is that most people spend more time reinforcing their doubts than their dreams. They believe in obstacles. They believe in the opinions of others. They believe in the permanence of their current conditions. But they do not believe in their ability to rise above it all. And so they stay stuck, not because life has chained them, but because they never chose to believe they could break free. I say to you now in the clearest terms possible, your belief is your power. If you cultivate it, protect it, speak it, and act upon it, there is no force on earth that can stop you for long. You may be delayed, you may face defeat, but you will never be truly beaten until you surrender your belief. So start now. Refuse to speak words of limitation. Refuse to dwell on what you lack. Focus your mind on what you seek. Build belief the same way you would build a muscle, through daily use, through repetition, through challenge. Say it out loud if you must. I believe. I believe in myself. I believe in my purpose. I believe in the future I am creating. Remember, every man who ever stood at the summit of success once stood where you now stand. What made the difference was not their circumstances, but their belief in what was possible. Choose to believe. Not timidly, not passively, but boldly, as if the entire universe is waiting for you to decide. Because the truth is, it is. It is an easy thing to believe when the road is clear, when your plans unfold smoothly, and when those around you offer applause and encouragement. But that, my friend, is not the belief that builds empires or creates miracles. And a true belief is forged in the crucible of doubt, in the shadow of failure, in the dark and lonely nights when nothing seems to be working and not a soul stands by your side. Any man can profess belief when all goes well. That kind of belief is convenient. It is shallow. It is untested. But belief that endures the storm, belief that stands firm when you are surrounded by uncertainty, that is the belief that transforms an ordinary man into a force of nature. You will face moments in life when nothing seems to make sense. You will work hard and see no results. You will dream big and feel mocked by the silence of the world. You will knock on doors and hear nothing but the echo of your own efforts. These are the moments when most men turn back. These are the tests. These are the crucibles. And if you cannot believe in those moments, then you will never rise beyond mediocrity. What separates the successful from the defeated is not luck, talent, or even intelligence. It is the ability to keep believing when others have given up. The great ones act as if success is inevitable, even when the world tells them they are fools. Their outer reality may scream impossible, but their inner dialogue whispers, keep going, it's coming, it's already yours. Do not expect your path to be smooth. Life will throw up barriers. You will be misunderstood. You will be criticized. You will encounter losses and delays. But understand this. These trials are not meant to break you. They are meant to reveal you. They do not arrive to test your dream. They arrive to test your belief in your dream. When you stumble, when you fall short, when you are ridiculed or dismissed, this is when belief must become a fire inside your chest. Not a flicker, but a blaze. It is then, and only then, that you will show yourself worthy of the destiny you claim to desire. Most men crumble under criticism. They alter their course at the first sign of resistance. But the man who is destined to succeed refuses to let the noise of the world dictate the conviction of his heart. He says, this setback does not define me. My belief is not dependent on proof. I believe not because I see. I believe because I have decided to. That, my friend, is power. Faith is most valuable when there is no visible reason to keep going. It is when your bank account is empty, your relationships are strained, and your strength is low that belief becomes your lifeline. It is in those times that belief is no longer a luxury. It is a necessity. Without it, you will quit. With it, you will rise. You must learn to talk to yourself differently in these moments. The average man, when faced with adversity, says, maybe I was wrong, maybe this isn't for me. But the man who is great says, this is just part of the process. I am being prepared for something bigger. I will persist because I believe in the unseen. Remember, everything great exists on the other side of temporary defeat. Edison failed thousands of times before producing the electric light. Did he allow failure to shake his belief? No. Each failure was not evidence that the dream was impossible. It was confirmation that success was near. He believed even when logic said, quit. He believed when others laughed. He believed as if the outcome was guaranteed, and that is why he ultimately succeeded. You must do the same. You must train your mind to see difficulty not as a sign to stop, but as a signal to strengthen your resolve. When things fall apart, do not fall with them. Rise higher. Speak your belief even louder. Declare it with greater certainty, and do not be swayed by the disbelief of others. People will project their fears onto you. They will tell you to be realistic. They will urge you to settle, to shrink, to give up. But their disbelief is not your truth. You are not responsible for the limitations of other people's minds. You are responsible only for the expansion of your own. If you are to reach your highest potential, you must become a man whose belief is stronger than his circumstances. You must hold fast to your vision when it seems furthest from your reach. For it is in that moment, when everything says stop and you keep going, that something shifts within you. You cross a line that few men dare to cross. And once you cross it, you are never the same. This is what it means to believe as if anything is possible. Not when the conditions are favorable, but especially when they are not. That is, when your belief becomes real. That is when your faith becomes power. So when you find yourself in the valley, when the skies are dark and the winds are strong, remember this: the great ones walked this path before you. They too were doubted. They too were tested. And they too had a choice. Shrink or believe. They chose belief, and so must you. Because belief is not belief until it has been tested. And when it passes the test, nothing can stop it. Not failure, not fear, not time. The man who believes when others do not. The man who believes when the world says no, that is the man who will change his life and in time the world around him. Believe and do not waver. That is the price. That is the key. That is the path. And it is yours, if you choose it. Belief is not something you are born with. It is not a gift bestowed upon the lucky or the privileged. It is not written in your DNA nor tied to your family name. Belief is a skill, and like all skills, it can be developed, strengthened, and sharpened by anyone, including you. Too many people sit idle, waiting for belief to magically appear. They think it will arrive once they achieve a certain level of success, or once others begin to believe in them. But belief does not come after achievement. It precedes it. It is the root from which success grows. And if you fail to cultivate it, you will forever remain trapped in a cycle of hesitation and regret. You see, the mind is a fertile garden. What you plant, you will harvest. If you sow doubt, you will reap fear and failure. But if you sow belief, if you feed your mind with purpose, vision, and persistence, then you will harvest confidence, action, and triumph. Belief is built through deliberate repetition, through conscious reinforcement. Just as a man trains his muscles through repeated effort, so too must he train his mind through repeated thought. Do not wait until you feel confident to believe. Do not wait until others validate you. You must be your own source of belief. That is the only way true transformation begins. External validation is fleeting, but internal belief, self-generated, self-sustained, is the bedrock of unshakable achievement. You must make belief a daily discipline. Wake up and speak your goals aloud. Visualize the life you are building down to the smallest detail. See yourself walking in victory before it arrives. Feel the emotions of achievement in your body before the world recognizes it. This is not fantasy. This is mental conditioning. And it is exactly what the most successful men throughout history have done. Think of any man who rose from nothing. He did not wait for belief. He created it. He decided, in the face of every reason to doubt, that he would believe anyway. That decision, made again and again, is what separated him from those who stayed behind. Belief, when trained, becomes a reflex. Just as a warrior trains his body to react under pressure, you can train your mind to default to belief rather than fear. When a problem arises, instead of panicking or retreating, you will say, "This is just another challenge for me to solve. I will find the way, I always do," and because you believe that, your mind opens up to possibilities it once ignored. Belief gives you energy. It creates momentum. When you believe in what you are doing, you become magnetic. People are drawn to you. They want to work with you. They want to support your vision. Not because you are better than them, but because belief is rare, and those who possess it stand out like a beacon in a sea of doubt. But here is the truth. Belief must be earned. You earn it by showing up daily, by doing the work, by facing your fears, by refusing to quit. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you push through when it would have been easier to stop, you are proving to your mind that you are trustworthy, and trust breeds belief. On the other hand, if you constantly break promises to yourself, if you speak words of power but act in hesitation, your mind will begin to doubt you. You must align your actions with your affirmation. You must walk in belief, not just speak it. When thought and behavior unite, belief becomes unshakable. And remember, just as belief is trained, so is doubt. If you allow fear to rule your thoughts, if you entertain negative opinions, if you surround yourself with people who always see the worst, then you are training your mind to expect failure. And the mind, being loyal, will deliver exactly that. You must become a master of your mental environment. Guard your mind the way a king guards his throne. Remove the weeds of negativity, water the seeds of faith, surround yourself with voices that reinforce your vision. Read the words of those who have overcome. Listen to the lessons of those who have triumphed. Their stories are not to entertain you, they are to equip you. They show you what belief can do. So I say to you now, do not ask whether you are capable. Do not wait for belief to come knocking. Train it, build it, speak it, strengthen it like a man strengthens his arms and legs. Let your belief become so powerful that it overpowers fear, doubt, and every voice of limitation. Because once belief becomes your habit, once it becomes your identity, nothing will be impossible for you. You will no longer be the man who waits for permission. You will be the man who creates his own reality. And that man is unstoppable. Action is the bridge between what you believe and what you become. You may possess the most vivid imagination, the strongest desire, and the firmest belief, but if you do not act upon it, you are merely a dreamer. The difference between the man who believes and the man who achieves is this. The achiever acts as if his success is inevitable. He moves not with hesitation, but with intention. He takes action rooted in the assumption that he is already becoming the man he envisions. Understand this truth, and your life will change. Action cements belief. Each step you take, no matter how small, reinforces the idea in your subconscious that your dream is real. Action is how you prove to your mind that what you believe is not a fantasy, but a decision. And your subconscious does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It responds to consistency, to motion, to repetition. When you act, you are sending it a signal. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is where I'm going. The mistake most men make is waiting. They wait until they feel more confident, until the conditions are more perfect, until someone else gives them permission. But that day never comes. Life does not reward the man who waits. It rewards the man who moves boldly in the direction of his purpose, regardless of circumstances. The program responds to insult. Faith without action is dead. A man may sit and recite affirmations all day long, but if he does not back those affirmations with courageous movement, he will see no progress. The mountain will not move for him. The universe does not respond to idle wishes, it responds to commitment. And commitment is shown through action. Let me tell you something plainly. When you act as if success is already yours, something extraordinary happens. Your mind becomes focused. Your energy rises. People begin to notice a difference in you. You carry yourself with conviction, with clarity, with presence. And the world responds in kind. Opportunities begin to appear. Allies are drawn to your momentum. Doors open that once remained shut. Why? Because the man who acts with belief is a rare force, and rarity commands attention. Look back on the history of great men. Edison, Carnegie, Ford. They all had a moment where belief alone wasn't enough. They had to put it into motion. Edison conducted thousands of experiments to bring light to the world. Carnegie built an empire by taking relentless action despite setbacks. Ford believed every man could own a car, but it was only through tireless effort that the Model T came into existence. Their belief drove their behavior, and their behavior shaped their legacy. You must do the same. And do not misunderstand, this kind of action is not random. It is not blind hustle. It is purposeful, intelligent, consistent. Every day you must ask yourself, what can I do today that aligns with the man I am becoming? Then you must do it not tomorrow, not when you feel like it, today. When you act in this manner, you do something remarkable. You collapse the gap between your current self and your future self. Each decision, each step, each challenge overcome brings you closer to the reality you have envisioned. Your future begins to unfold in the present. And let us be clear, there will be days when action feels heavy, days when doubt creeps in, days when results are scarce. But it is in these very moments that action matters most. If you can act when it would be easier to quit, you strengthen belief like iron in fire. That kind of action, the kind that is forged in resistance, is the foundation of greatness. The average man stops when he feels tired or discouraged. The exceptional man acts anyway. He understands that emotions are fleeting, but purpose is permanent. He moves not based on how he feels, but based on who he is becoming. That is the mindset that conquers. Think of belief and action as two wheels on the same cart. One cannot turn without the other. Belief without action is wishful thinking, and without belief is directionless struggle. But together they form a powerful force that drives progress and invites destiny. There is another benefit to acting as if success is inevitable. It silences the doubters. The world may question your dreams, your timing, even your worthiness, but they cannot argue with results. When you show up daily, when you produce, when you make progress, you silence every critic, including the one inside your own mind. And the more you act, the more belief you build. Action becomes a cycle. Belief fuels action, and action reinforces belief. Before long, momentum takes over. You begin to expect results. You begin to attract more of what you want. You become magnetic, unstoppable, inevitable. But you must begin. You must take that first step, even if your knees are trembling, even if your voice shakes, even if no one believes in you yet, especially then. Because action in the face of fear is what separates the dreamers from the doers. It is what transforms the man who wishes into the man who wins. So act like the man who knows where he's going. Act like the man who already possesses what he seeks. Speak like him, walk like him, decide like him, because every time you do, you bring him closer into being. You are not waiting to become that man. You are training yourself to be him. And once you do this long enough, consistently enough, with passion and discipline, the world will no longer ask, can he do it? The world will simply say, he was always going to.